This podcast was recorded on August 2nd, 2016. Welcome to the Trendzcast, Episode 1, Chicken Nuggets, Fat Romo, Articuno, and more. My name is Steven Carasone. I'm going to be bringing you the news that you are sharing. Welcome to the Trendzcast. My name is Steven Carasone. I'm going to be bringing the news that you are sharing. I'm going to take trending topics around the internet and present it back to you in 4 categories: entertainment, science, sports, and politics. These categories aren't perfect, but they're the easiest categories to put news articles into. Now, this is going to be a really loose show since it's my first one, and I've never done this before, but hey, why not? And as you heard in the headline, the big entertainment news going on right now is Articuno. Articuno was found in Ohio, USA, and there's a video going around showing a person walking up to a gym, and they see the gym has a Articuno on it. This is the first time that a legendary Pokemon has been seen in Pokemon Go. This is crazy. Everyone's losing their minds over this, but there's also the backlash, the claims that this might not be real. This might be a clever fake that someone put on the internet that put full animation into, but man, this looks really real. The next trending topic is the Xbox One Summer Update. It came out yesterday on Monday, and it includes the Cortana Assistant, background music, improved game collection, and several other features. It became free as of yesterday. Then this next topic is No Man's Sky. If you hadn't heard, last week, No Man's Sky, the video game, had footage leaked from it. Someone had bought a $2,000-something version of the game, and they've been posting videos all over the internet. They posted it on YouTube, Daily Video, Vimeo, and it kept getting taken down. So the man started streaming on Twitch, and then it didn't work there. So he finally started posting on Pornhub. And these video game videos of No Man's Sky have been posted on Pornhub. This is this is pretty ridiculous. He's getting a lot of backlash from the developer because he's showing off some glitches and stuff that don't make the game particularly look good. Some fans are losing their minds. This guy had reached the center of the universe, which had apparently been the end goal of this game. I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but it's causing a lot of controversy online. That's odd. But the next story, BioWare, the game developer, has announced plans to shut down most of its official game forums. BioWare said it is closing every official game forum except the one for Star Wars: The Old Republic. The forums contain more than 20 million posts and 500,000 members, Polygon reports. Now, if you've ever been on the BioWare game forums, you may know this is pretty expected. The forums are so heavily modified and controversial that it sometimes is backlash for the company itself, when this is just something that should be existing for bug reporting and small conversations. Really, there's not much that forums do these days other than that, and to see that a game developer is shutting down most of its own forums is no surprise to me. It's been a long time coming. Now, this next topic, another Pokemon Go topic. Niantic removes the game's 3-step feature. This happened Sunday night. I got really excited myself when I pulled up my phone to turn on Pokemon Go and I saw there was an update. But it didn't add anything at all. It actually took away the game's tracking feature, which had been broken at the time, showing 3 steps when originally when game released it only had it would reduce steps 1, 2, 3, 0, and then you'd be right on top of the Pokemon. Now they're trying to combat this backlash they're having right now. Everyone's upset that they just took the tracker out entirely, when especially the ping, that the green burst around the tracker, actually worked, and if you followed the ping, you would get to the Pokemon eventually, but it was really difficult. And then they also shut down third-party systems that would track Pokemon on their own third-party websites, specifically Pokevision.com. These are some big names. There was over 50 million gamers for Pokemon Go, so this game's getting a lot of attention. You'll see that later on. And moving on, this next topic, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, released a new TV spot for the upcoming film by Gareth Edwards. It's a 30-second trailer, and I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to be sharing it with you, not in this podcast, but online if you follow me. And look forward to that. The movie looks great. I can't wait myself. Star Wars is a special love of mine, and I can't get enough. I hope this movie is as good as people are saying it will be. Next topic, Mass Effect Andromeda, a BioWare game. The developer, BioWare, reportedly comments on using Frostbite engine in game's creation. We're pushing the boundaries of what Frostbite can do and what Mass Effect can do, BioWare's Mac Walters told official Xbox magazine. As reported by the Daily Star, the game is set to debut in 2017 now. Andromeda hasn't had much gameplay shown, and the last Mass Effect game, Mass Effect 3, had a lot of public backlash. So much so that the developer released a fix ? The extended edition of the game's ending, which didn't add much in. It's just like an escape scene for your team members. But a lot of people are feeling that ever since Dragon Age Inquisition, that BioWare's been getting its game together. It's not as bad as it used to be. BioWare used to be the center of a lot of controversy, which in the previous topic, the forums, makes sense. You know, the forums have had a long history of some public backlash, so this is a good move for the company. Hopefully a good move for gamers to use the Frostbite engine. Hopefully it lets them use to build a lot of great content in their game. Next topic, Kesha, singer, drops sexual abuse lawsuit against former mentor Dr. Luke in Los Angeles. Now, this story has been going on about a year now. Kesha had alleged that she'd been sexually abused by her producer and former mentor Dr. Luke. Kesha has given Dr. Luke's label 28 new songs to fulfill contractually. Kesha has given Dr. Luke's label 28 new songs to fulfill contractual obligations. Her lawyer said she will continue to pursue cases against him in New York, alleging physical and emotional abuse. Now, this is a weird turn of events, because I thought Kesha had a good lawsuit going for her. I hadn't known the specific details of it, but there was enough buzz around it that it seemed like she had a good suit going. And to drop it like this is bizarre. I guess she didn't, but she's going to continue in New York. Doesn't work out in Los Angeles, but works in New York. All right. Next topic, American Horror Story. Photos reportedly surfaced from set of horror television series 6th season. The set photos appear to show a tree with the word Croatan, or Croatone, carved in its side, alluding to the group of settlers who disappeared from Roanoke Island in the 16th century, TMZ reported Monday. The Joker. Next topic. Jared Leto says he was terrified to step into the role for Suicide Squad film. See, this Thursday, Suicide Squad is being released. It is the second film in a new cinematic universe. Third film, I forgot, Man of Steel is the first film. It goes Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and now Suicide Squad. Jared Leto is a very, very talented actor. I don't know if you've seen Mr. Nobody, but he was fantastic in that movie. I think it was Dallas Buyers Club. He won his Oscar for. I think he played a transsexual man who was addicted to heroin, if I can remember correctly. And he recently showed up on some shows around the internet, all sorts of places on TV. Leto said he was terrified to play the role because previous actors such as Heath Ledger had created such iconic characters, but also felt excited it was an opportunity of a lifetime. Quote. Wow, well, that's great. I'm happy for Jared Leto that he hasn't lost his marbles like former actors who had played the Joker, and that he feels so happy to take the opportunity. I can't blame him. It's a great role to be put in. Now that ends the entertainment category. My favorite category, science, is up next. Let me pull up those stories. There we are. And the first story for science is a technology topic. Samsung Gear VR, upcoming version of headset, rumored to have wider field of view, reports say. The new Gear VR is rumored to have a 110-degree field of view compared with the current model's 96 degrees. It is also expected to work with fewer and larger mobile devices. Not fewer, newer. My bad. This is great news. The Samsung Gear VR is a modifying headset that lets you use your phone as virtual reality projector. And the lenses inside that headset is really what makes it work. Now, adding 14 degrees to the field of view is pretty significant. I don't know the exact degrees that your eyes can see left to right, but ideally, I think you'd want 180 degrees just so that the light from around your eyes is hit in from the sides. I know you can't probably see 180 degrees because your eyes actually fill in the space, like your mind fills into space around where your eyes can actually see. It's pretty cool. Next story, chicken nuggets. Finally getting to this one. McDonald's announces removal of artificial preservatives from poultry-based item. McDonald's announced Monday that it has removed preservatives from McNuggets and other selected items. The company said it'll remove high fructose corn syrup from its buns by the end of August. Now, I personally am very happy about this. I believe that we should move back towards more organic food overall. McDonald's is constantly come under the attack because it is the biggest fast food restaurant in the world, and to see that they've moved in a completely 180 direction in recent years from the least healthy to probably one of the most healthy fast food restaurants in at least the United States is pretty good. And I eat there now. I didn't used to, but now I go there and I'll get a wrap with chicken and something else. This is not a sponsored podcast, by the way. I just like chicken and from McDonald's. And my girlfriend loves McNuggets, so that's a big plus if they're gonna remove artificial preservatives. That's good. As long as the meat doesn't go bad and they don't serve bad meat, then we might as well be eating the artificial preservatives. Next story, Milky Way. Center of the galaxy lacks Cepheid stars, astronomer says. There is a huge desert of Cepheid stars extending out to 8,000 light years from the center of the Milky Way, Noriyuki Matsunaga said in a study published Monday. Cepheids help measure distance. Now, I'm not familiar with Cepheid stars. I took astronomy in college, but the Cepheid stars elude me. Now, my guess, my completely uneducated guess, okay, a grain of salt, is that the reason that these stars don't exist within the 8,000 light years center of the Milky Way is because, as some scientists have theorized, there's a black hole in the middle of the galaxy, and that's what draws the gravity well in so much that it can capture millions and millions of stars that make up our galaxy. It would make sense that the horizon point would be somewhere. And if that somewhere is the 8,000 light years from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, then that would make sense to me. The horizon point of a black hole is the point at which you can orbit a black hole without being pulled into it. So anything around, there's gravity projecting out from the black hole that is sucking things in constantly. But that gravity gets weaker and weaker the farther you are away. Otherwise, everything would just get sucked into each other immediately. So this horizon point is the distance at which you can escape a black hole. It's just far enough away. And if it's 8,000, this is a massive, 8,000 light years, this is a massive black hole, which would make sense. But that's just my 2 cents. The next trending topic, Mars. Channels on planet slopes caused by carbon dioxide freeze cycles, scientists say. Scientists at Johns Hopkins published a story in Geophysical Research Letters saying no evidence of liquid water has been found on Mars. Gullies are likely the result of CO2 freezing and thawing. Now, this is another topic that I have absolutely no basis to report on, but it sounds like the carbon dioxide freeze cycle is what has formed a geological landscape of Mars and gives Mars its rather odd surface. If you've never seen a topographical map of Mars, it's rather flat. It's a flat planet. The northern hemisphere is lower than the southern hemisphere of the planet, which has led to several models where you can take Mars and add water to it. And the entire northern hemisphere is basically an ocean. The entire southern hemisphere is a Pangea-like landmass. So it's interesting hearing these stories that come out almost daily about astronomy, where we learn possible ways that a planet is formed, and that just gives us more things to think about when we affect our world. Maybe carbon dioxide freeze cycle has a way of pulling off minerals from the surface, and that can be a damaging thing that, global warming and all sorts of things is a greenhouse effect we aren't accounting for right now, and that could be a significant discovery. Next topic, Google search. Company's stay in the loop feature to track internet mentions gets reportedly released. The new search feature allows users to set Google alerts for new mentions of their name as long as they have authorized Google to collect their web and app activity, outlets reported Saturday. Now, this is a new form of tracking, I believe, and another headline here. Google can now tell you when and where you are mentioned online. Now, that's a little bit more clarifying, which is a interesting feature to add. Google does most of the search engineering for the internet itself. They do a little bit of manipulation if you pay attention. The bigger companies show up more than the small companies that have more relevancy, obviously. But if you can find yourself and where you were mentioned, keep a track on who's tracking you, then that's a good thing. Hopefully it's not used for evil. Hopefully. Next topic, Galaxy Note 7. Samsung unveils Fatlit featuring VR capability. The large screen Galaxy Note Fatlit was released on Tuesday. It features a curved 5.7-inch display, retinal and fingerprint scanner, support for high definition HDR hard drive replay, HDR streaming, and virtual reality compatibility. That's interesting. This is a new phone. It's quite large when you look at it. Wow. Use a pen on it. It's a Note. Of course, use a pen on a Note phone if you don't own one. And that's good news. It's a nice addition to the phone catalog out there. Now, speaking of phone catalogs, there is a phone launching in India called the Redmi 3S. Xiaomi to launch smartphone in India on Wednesday, reports say. On Wednesday, there's a new phone coming out for the Indian market. It is a Chinese market. It was originally released for the Chinese market in June, and it is now coming to India. That's intriguing. I didn't know that China was selling smartphones to India. That's intriguing news that you find out when you do trending topics. All right, that's all we have for science. We have now reached our third category, sports. You may have heard me mention Fat Romo earlier, and that's because today there was a picture that came out of Tony Romo looking quite fat at the training camps. He's looking old. The Cowboys have not had a good season last year. Cowboy fans out there are probably just upset at this picture. It's kind of funny, but this is a headline. Tony Romo, photo that makes Cowboys quarterback look overweight is misleading, team executive says. Everybody can take a picture of you that makes it look different than it is, but Tony's in great shape, Stephen Jones said in response to a photo shared online. Hey, I mean, he may be not. The photo is pretty unflattering, and it's from a top-down forward view, so it could be very misleading. Not really sure. Next topic, a kind of blend of topics. Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. Character appears to say curse word in game, report says. The alleged instance of offensive language appears to occur during the Wii U's title football activity when character Shadow the Hedgehog is blocked or tackled, Eurogamer reports. Wow. I'm curious what the bad word is, but the headlines aren't showing. But to imagine Sonic the Hedgehog just bashing Sonic in the face with Mario in the face with a soccer ball, and then cursing at the top of his lungs on a soccer field in the Rio Olympic Games. Sounds very entertaining. I probably should have put that story in entertainment because, wow, that's good. That's good stuff. Next topic, Simone Biles, U.S. gymnast, stands back-to-back with a volleyball player who is 2 feet taller than her. The 4'8" gymnast tweeted a picture of herself with 6'8" U.S. U.S. volleyball player David Lee with the caption, "Size difference in Olympians matter." Wow, there is a huge difference. He looks so much bigger than this Simone Biles girl, who is a very, very talented gymnast. She won a gold medal the last Olympics. This will be her second Olympics. Looking forward to seeing her out there. Man, I think I'll be able to post this in the video, but whew, that is quite the distance. She doesn't even come up to his shoulders. That's something. Next story, Andy Reid, man impersonating Kansas City Chiefs coach, runs press conference at team's training camp. Chris P. Wilhelm, dressed in Chiefs apparel and sporting a mustache, briefly addressed reporters on Monday before being replaced by Reid, who called him beautiful. Now, this is a kind of a creepy but also funny story, or a larger than Reid man. What was his name? Chris P. Wilhelm. Chris here, slightly larger than Andy, but not too much. He looks a lot like him. It's pretty good impersonation. He addressed the press conference, and the day Andy pops up. It's a pretty good video. You should check it out. Next story, Wendell Lira, Brazilian soccer player, retires from sport to focus on gaming career, report says. The 27-year-old, who won FIFA's Puskas Award in January for the best goal of 2015, told Globo Esporte he wants to be a professional esports player and a world champion at the FIFA video games. Now, this is quite the story. Brazilian soccer player who won FIFA's Puskas Awards in January for the best goal of 2015 is now quitting soccer to play virtual soccer. That's quite the story. But hey, take what you can. If this guy loves doing that, go ahead. Hopefully that soccer doesn't phase out entirely one day and it's just a bunch of gamers playing soccer instead. And soccer is an actual sport. That's a weird turn of events. Next story, Brandon Marshall, New York Jets wide receiver, says quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick should be considered elite. What does he have to do to be elite? Throw for 5,000 yards and get us to the playoffs? Okay, you'll see. Marshall said on ESPN's First Take, Fitzpatrick had the NFL's 24th best quarterback rating in 2015. Now, I don't know how to judge who should be an elite and who isn't. I don't know what the measurement for that is, but this guy's staying out for his team. Brandon Marshall, he's quite the wide receiver. 24th, not 24th. That's his quarterback. Brandon Marshall's quite the receiver. New York Jets haven't been doing well They actually had one of their better seasons last year, with some considerable wins. I think they won against the Patriots at some point. That's crazy. The Patriots are one of the top 4 teams in the U.S. NFL, and that this is a great story about team comfort, I guess. The next story, Amari Cooper, Raiders receiver, says talent level between NFL and SEC defenders is about the same. The talent level to me probably is about the same coming from the SEC, but NFL players are smarter, so it makes them better. Cooper, who had attended Alabama, said on Sirius XM NFL radio. Now, I can agree with the guy. I think that the defenders at some SEC universities are really, really good. A couple years back, the Muschamp Gators team was entirely composed of defensive players. I mean, their entire winning strategy was to give it to the defending player, and hopefully an interception, they'll get it all the way across the field. Give the ball to the defending team as much as possible was the Gators' style of winning. That's how good the SEC defense is, by example, for one school. Now, in this next story, our last story, Nick Diaz, UFC fighter's 18-month suspension ends as Tyrone Woodley calls him out. Tyrone's suspension over testing positive for marijuana ended Monday. Woodley, the new UFC welterweight champion, called Diaz out following his win on Saturday at UFC 201. Now, this is probably gonna end 2 ways. They're gonna have a fight, or it's just gonna be a lot of smack talk that doesn't go anywhere. But Tyrone Woodley's on the top of his game. If he wants some more money and he wants to beat Diaz, or if he's willing to get beat by Diaz just for the opportunity to try to beat him, then he's welcome to, in my opinion. This is going to be that'd be an outstanding fight. They're great fighters. But that is the end of our sports category. We are now moving to our final category, politics, the dirtiest and probably the worst topic we're going to cover today. But I'm going to start off light. First topic, Andrew Cuomo, New York governor, issues order banning paroled sex offenders from playing Pokemon Go. I think this is the 3rd Pokemon Go story we've covered in this podcast. Wow. This is quite the order. The decision comes in response to a report by a pair of state senators that found 59 Pokestops and gyms near the locations of 106 offenders in the state, Cuomo said in a statement. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the age rating for Pokemon Go is, but I'm pretty sure it's E for everyone. If stuff like this keeps happening, that's definitely going to raise up to at least 16 is got to be the minimum age for playing this game. I know this is never listened to with the gaming community. It's rarely you see parents not let their kids play a game on their phone. That's hard to monitor, very difficult to monitor as a parent. But it makes sense banning parole sex offenders from playing Pokemon Go, but at the same time, how are you gonna prevent paroled sex offenders from playing Pokemon Go? I don't know. That seems like an intrusion of the private sector by northern elitist politician who doesn't understand how technology works, other than his emails. Another trending topic for another day. Next topic, Libya. U.S. launches airstrikes against Islamic State group in Sirte. Sirte. Officials say Fayez Sarraj, sorry, I probably just butchered that, Prime Minister of Libya's Western-backed unity government, said the attacks were done Monday under the request of the Libyan government and no U.S. ground troops will be deployed. This sounds like a new move because we have not done airstrikes in Libya yet, to my knowledge. Libya has recently, in the past year, come into attack by Islamic State groupers, and it's very separated from the main territory owned by the Islamic State, Iraq. Libya is in North Africa, whereas Iraq is part of Asia. So it's kind of turning into a two-front war now. No U.S. ground troops will be deployed. That's a given. We're not putting boots on the ground for this yet. Sounds like they're working in tangent with a Libyan-backed someone with a little bit of a legitimacy, at least, hopefully. Now, in the next story, Canada. Yes, Canada is in a trending topic. Wow. Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, announces new Supreme Court justices selection process. Trudeau said Tuesday that the new process will be open, transparent, and will set a higher standard for accountability. Ex-Prime Minister Kim Campbell will chair a new advisory board for candidates. Now, I don't personally know the Canadian Supreme Justice system because I'm American, and I understand our American Supreme Court justice system. But if he wants to add transparency and set a higher standard for accountability by making it harder to stay as a justice, then good for him. The more checks and balances you can put on politicians, the more democracy will survive. Now, in this next topic, a more happy topic here, a story out of Australia. Don't mark yourself as Jedi. Campaign asks Australians not to list Jedi as a religion on upcoming census. Over 64,000 Australians identify with the mystical order from the Star Wars franchise on a 2011 census. The Atheist Foundation of Australia says the trend skews how tax dollars are spent. Now, if you don't know this, and if you aren't a Star Wars fan, I recommend listening to the novel How Star Wars Conquered the Universe. The name of the author eludes me, but in that story, or in that novel, it's outlined how Star Wars in franchise religion, known as Jediism, is an actual religion. It has been for quite a long time, a few decades now. I think the number that most countries make a religion at, the number of petitioners, is 50,000 or so. So it doesn't take much to establish a religion in most countries, especially in the United States. But Australia, specifically, it sounds like the Atheist Foundation of Australia says that it's not good for their government, and they're not good for their population. But hey, I say let yourself be a Jedi. It's a great religion, peace, one with the Force. I'm not sure how the tax dollars are skewed there, but there you go. It says the trend skews how tax dollars are spent. That's why, in the United States, we don't have tax dollars that go to religions or churches and stuff. It keeps stuff like this from happening. But even then, people say the lack of tax dollars is just as bad. So maybe we'll see. I'd like to see how the story turns out in a couple days. Next story, Dylan Roof. Lawyers of accused Charleston, South Carolina gunman file motion challenging U.S. death penalty. Now, if you don't know who Dylan Roof is, he was the gunman who went into a church in Charleston, South Carolina, and killed everyone at the church at the time. He generated massive controversy about the Confederate flag and modern racism still in our country, and he was sentenced to the death penalty. But now it looks like the lawyers are trying to get the death penalty. They're going straight for the death penalty. They're not arguing that he deserves the death penalty. They said they need to, they're pursuing the death penalty to stop him from being killed. So they argue it's unconstitutional, and it is labeled as unconstitutional in some states. But man, this guy's bad. This guy's just awful. And I don't think it would be much loss to society if they don't win the case of basically repealing the death penalty. I don't think much people would argue that. The last story here of the day, Simon's diagnostic firm's Zika detection test receives FDA emergency use authorization. Simon's Versant Zika RNA 1.0 assay, KPCR kit, can detect the presence of Zika virus as well as viral antibodies. The FDA granted emergency use authorization to the kit on Monday. Zika was confirmed in some blood transfer cases recently in Miami. So the governor of Florida released a state of emergency call to prevent Zika throughout the Florida. So it seems like the next logical step in choosing a detection test to stop Zika from being spread. The reason that Zika was spread through blood transfusions was because they didn't have a detection test ready for use in Miami. But it looks like they're going to be getting some because the FDA just used an emergency authorization on this specific kit. Hopefully it works. Now, that is all for today. We have reached the end of the Trendzcast, and this wraps everything up. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, and tune again next time to hear the news that you are sharing.